On the back of a $1 million scam, is it fair for us to ask if authenticators are failing the sports collectibles community? We'll tell you what we think now. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another episode of Cards on the Table. And gentlemen, welcome to the start of the NFL season. Teapot, tonight, your Chiefs and your Lions are in action. This is incredible. I'm sure it's a big evening for you.
Yeah, it was nice of you to get me tickets, fly me out there. I'm looking forward to it.
The least I could do.
Who are you rooting for, though? You have to make a decision
I'm rooting
now.
for the Lions. They're my team.
Wow,
Okay.
Going against his own allegiance there. Ben, welcome to the show as well. And welcome to you to this show, because we got a good one. We're going to get right in today, because I know you're all going to want to go watch the football game here shortly. This first topic, this is a absolute doozy. It has been a crazy story that has developed over the last couple of weeks, where the man behind a popular Instagram account in the sports card hobby, or at least a former popular Instagram account in the sports card hobby, because it has since been deleted, that man allegedly perpetuated a scam that could have turned into a $1 million plus scam if it wasn't for the fact that he was caught by some members in the collectibles community and by some great investigative reporting by Darren Rovell. Now, what he did specifically was he bought a jersey and then he faked photographs to then submit that to a photo matching authenticator to say, look, this jersey was worn by Michael Jordan in a playoff game. The photos prove it. And it was even more intricate of a scam than that. He set up actually a fake nonprofit foundation in the name of a dead NBA photographer and claimed that that was the source of these photos. It all looked legitimate, and the photo matching company authenticated it as real. It almost got through until those collectors and until Darren Rovell broke the case. Thankfully, that letter of authentication has now been rescinded, but we have to worry about what else is out there. How often has this happened before? We've seen fake cards and slabs. We've seen fake autographs that have gotten certified by the autograph authenticators. Photo matching, we thought, was the gold standard. We thought nothing could trick photo matching until it just did. I'm going to start with you today, Ben. What are your thoughts on this entire story?
Well, there's a lot to unpack, and the short of it is I think this is completely devastating to the hobby. I think it's really, really disappointing that it's happened at this scale, that it's happened with what people thought was an important member of our community, the fact that it's happened with an iconic player on what could have been an iconic jersey. And I think it really calls into question authentication holistically within our hobby. This isn't to dunk on the photo matching specifically, but I think we have to start there. If we're not authenticating the photos that are used to photo match, what are we doing, right? They said that they were duped in that scenario. Is this something that has been going on before? I think we have to now call into question all the photo matching from this company unless they can prove that this was an isolated incident. I thought their statement that came out afterward was pretty lackluster. I don't think there was really an apology in that. I don't think they mentioned anything that they were going to do to change authentication moving forward. And to be honest, even moving beyond the photo matching, we have a lot of grading companies in the hobby that have talked up a whole bunch of new technology that they're going to use, and it's going to fix, scams and alterations and trimming and all these different things. Let's see it, because over the last few months, I think just about every grading company has been involved in some type of fake autograph scandal or trimmed card scandal of some sort. When is it going to stop? When is that new technology going to come in? Where's the transparency here? None of these companies are coming out and saying this is how this mistake actually happened, which I think we all want. And to be honest, to even think ahead a little bit, if I'm Fanatics, I'm almost clapping a little bit, because they have a direct connection, hopefully moving forward, to game used memorabilia. And something like this makes me as a collector question any authentication when it comes to game used stuff. So, short of it coming directly from the NFL, the NBA, MLB, I'm skeptical.
Okay.
I'm sincerely skeptical.
Well, this is the take that I don't like to hear, because someone who obviously is an ardent collector such as yourself, you're now really calling a lot of stuff into question, and that's not great for the hobby.
I think we have to.
There's so many dollars involved here, and the problem is that, a few years ago, pulling off a scam like this wouldn't have been quite as profitable as it is today. The dollars are so big, and when the dollars get that big, the bad actors, the criminals see opportunity and they come in. That's apparently what happened here. What are your thoughts, Teapot?
I mean, I've had a lot of different thoughts around this. I feel like there's not a lot that I can say that hasn't already been said, already been shared out there. I maybe have a slightly less negative view of the authenticators, whether it's BBCE, MyGray, the card grading companies. We've seen problems with all of them now, and in some cases, many problems, like Ben says. I know last week when we were talking about like how does a 6 go to a 10 and all these things, I'm skeptical about that. At the same time, I think it was Doug who pointed out there's like, so many millions of cards going through every month. I spent a little more time thinking about that. There's so many aspects to this. The company is doing the best that they can, I think, I hope, right? Now, this obviously is a huge problem, and if I were somebody looking to buy a photo match jersey or some other photo match piece of memorabilia, I might start to just really doubt that in general. In general, I might doubt that. The next step up is knowing, like Ben said, that it came from a game and it went through these hands and now it's certified and it's stamped right on the thing. So I just feel like as a collector, you have to start taking those things into consideration, and instead of treating the authenticators like they're flawless, like they're perfect with everything that they do, it is their best guess, and there's nobody else out there doing it. So what are we going to do? What can we do? We shake our fist in the air and get really mad. But it's not like you or I or anybody else is trying to spin up a better version of this company. And the flip side is, every time we do see a company coming through trying to do something different and take a different approach, everybody ridicules them and runs them out of the hobby and says, well, I'm never going to do that because you're not PSA or you're not whatever. So there's sort of like a chicken and an egg type of thing happening there. But I do think I'd like to see, like Ben said, some of that technology keep coming out and hold hopefully some of them to a little bit higher standard.
Your last point's a fair one. I was reading a thread the other day where someone posted a very high-end card. They just got graded by TSA or by TAG.
Yeah.
The comments,
people just
it was like 100+ negative comments of people just dunking on that person. Oh, why would you ever do that? That should have been PSA. It's like, well, TAG's, trying to do something innovative here. They're trying to, maybe solve some of these types of problems in a different way, right? And yeah, I agree with you that that's a little bit of a challenge perception. And but then again, people dunked on the grading companies when they first came out as well. I was not involved in the hobby back when PSA first emerged, but from what I understand from hearing stories from dealers back there, PSA was kind of a laughing stock in its first few years of existence. Like, all of the dealers were like, we don't need this, we don't want this is ridiculous. Who wants to put a card inside a plastic encasement where you can never touch or the card again? It's permanently in this thing.
Yeah.
Like, everyone thought it was a dumb idea. It sounds like, and sure enough, today it's the absolute
But
gold
people
standard.
want $10 for grading, but a full-blown forensic analysis on the card with no upcharges.
In most, my view of this whole thing is quite a bit less, fatalistic than yours. In most professions, a 99% accuracy rate would be considered a really good accuracy rate. And when you consider that these photo matching companies are authenticating thousands of items, most likely a month, and you've got the grading companies, which are grading literally 1 million+ items per month, the ones you hear about are the ones they make the mistake on. Yeah. Now, this was obviously a big one for them to make a mistake on, but hopefully they learn from it. Hopefully they change the procedures. I think they got tricked by a very elaborate scam in this case, and hopefully they've learned from that, and I'm sure they're tightening up their procedures. None of it's perfect. If it's 99% accurate, though, that's a lot better than it was 20, 30 years ago before this stuff was much more commonplace. All right, guys. Well, let's talk about something happier. And happier for me is with the start of the NFL season, I am picking up cards of the #1 ranked fantasy wide receiver, the #1 ranked draft pick in most fantasy leagues, Justin Jefferson. I'm expecting another big season from him. And there is a Justin Jefferson 2020 Momentum Triple Jersey Auto card, numbered to 25 right now on pristinaauction.com. What do you have your eye on?
Well, I like Justin Jefferson too. He's a great receiver, but the gap between his card prices and Jamar Chase's now is absurd. I think Chase could have a better season than Jefferson this year. He's been close before. I'm looking at a Jamar Chase 2021 National Treasures. It's the rookie signatures. It's a landscape card, field
It's a
pack.
nice card.
Really nice looking card.
Yep. And Ben, you going wide receiver too?
Absolutely not. Come on, guys. It all starts and it ends with the quarterbacks, and there's nobody we have our eye on more than Aaron Rodgers. I'm checking out a 2021 flawless patch auto. Doesn't get better than that. Come on.
I mean, these are beautiful cards. All these cards are available for auction right now on pristineauction.com. And if you sign up for Pristine Auction and use promo code SCI when you register, Pristine Auction is going to put $10 in your account for free to use towards your first auction purchase. Teapot, let's talk about your data dive video from this past week, and it was an interesting one. You're talking about the undeniably best way to collect. We'll debate that one a little bit here, but you're talking about collecting by stats. Talk us through this video and what your conclusion here is.
So what I really called it was the ultimate collector method, and it's all about preserving the past and not forgetting about awesome performances. It's fantasy football season. We go back, think about Priest Holmes, who was the one who got me into rooting for the Chiefs way back when, after Barry retired and I was mad at the Lions. You think about Sean Alexander, you can go to Arian Foster, Chris Johnson, all these guys, right? Same thing with, other sports, basketball. I shouted out your boy Joakim Noah for his Defensive Player of the Year.
That's where it went wrong.
Chris Webber, Ryan Howard, Prince Fielder. There are so many great athletes who really, they live in our collective consciousness when they play, and they're all NBA or all pro caliber players, and then we just sort of forget about them. We can only retain so much in our heads. And one of the things a lot of people like to do, albeit to a lower extent today, is to pull out an old photo album and just sit down with friends and go, look at how you looked when you were a baby and whatever. It's fun to do that with sports cards. And if you catalog it and you have your 9-page binder and you just go, wow, here were all the points per game leaders year over year. I can't believe such and such a person. I forgot how good, Arvydas Sabonis really was, go back in the day. So it's a little bit of that added nostalgia coupled with being a bit of a stat geek on my part. So I'm having a little bit of fun with it.
All right, do you collect this way, Ben? What are your thoughts on this here?
I collect a much better way, and it's players that people, or at least myself, will remember 10 years from now. I watched the episode, Teapot. I completely get what you're saying. I think it's a cool way to collect. It's probably not going to be something that I introduce into my own collection. A great example, you pulled out Luis Gonzalez. Great run. It was fantastic getting to see the D-backs, win the World Series. But then he just sort of drifts away.
Right.
And I know that if I buy a Luis Gonzalez card, within 5 months, it's going to go right into the bin where I'm going to start listing cards on eBay. It's going to be a card that I spontaneously purchase in the moment because I think it's really cool. And then a few months from now, it's going to turn into something different. It's going to turn into $20 that I turn into a gold Trae Young. And that's just... That's the reality.
$20 for a gold Trae Young these days. That's actually the bigger problem of this entire conversation.
There's going to be more that goes into it, but
Trae Young golds for $20.
Next week we'll debate whether people remember Trae Young in 10 years. But
don't be like that.
So for me, if you're going to collect the moments, if you're going to collect the seasons, I think it's cool. But what about collecting tickets? That's one of the I've started to build a small ticket collection. And I like what tickets offer that cards don't is that tickets are tied back to a specific moment, a specific game, a specific event,
that you didn't go to,
a specific point in time. Well, but I mean, you may not have had the opportunity to go to it. Like for example, I bought a ticket from when Hank Aaron passed Babe Ruth as the home run leader. That game happened here in Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium prior to me being born. So yes, I wasn't at that game, but I think it's cool that I have a ticket to that game, and that's a moment in time. I'd much rather have the ticket rather than the card that corresponds to that season. I'd rather have the ticket because it's a moment in time thing. Now, a Hank Aaron rookie card, yes, I would much rather have a Hank Aaron rookie card than the ticket. But if you're talking about trying to match a card with a season, give me the ticket.
You know what? I'm getting rid of my Noahs, Percy Harvins. They're all going in the bin.
Should have been there
It's all
anyway.
trash.
I'd be happy to take those off.
They need to let us know what do you like better, tickets or players' cards in history?
Random players' cards.
Great players.
Let
cards.
us know in the comments, and we will be right back. If you don't have the Sports Card Investor app on your phone, go download it for free from the App Store right now. And if you do, open it up. It's going to be important this football season to watch all of the cards that are trending in the top rankings on the Sports Card Investor app. Okay, guys, we got to cover this next topic. This was wild. Tacofractors. Now, we don't really know what Tacofractors are. They started coming out in top sets this year. Players have Tacofractor cards, which are numbered to 5, but then in the recent Topps Cosmic, I believe it was, there's a wild card Tacofractor card. It just simply says Tacofractor wild card out of 5. We don't really know what this card is or what this card does or what this card means, but what we do know is that it sold for $11,000 on eBay. Where is this going? I think Topps and Fanatics have some pretty big plans up their sleeves, and some people might kind of know what some of those are. Maybe that's why this thing goes for $11,000. But what are your thoughts, Teapot, on this? Do you have a hunch of what's going on here?
Two of my favorite things in life are tacos and refractors. I am not down with the Tacofractor. I don't get the Tacofractor. Now, here's what I will say. The wild card thing, I have less of a problem with than the parallel with players on the card and tacos around them with no explanation of why that's a thing. Maybe they're gonna get the last laugh and there's gonna be this great, awesome thing. Maybe this means if you have one of those wild cards, you get to be part of a group that goes to have Taco Tuesday dinner with J-Rod and Mike Trout in the middle of, some stadium, and you win some other things. I don't know. They're trying to keep this hush-hush. Here's what I don't know. Why would somebody pay $11,000 for this without having any clue what it's gonna do? And why not 11.5? Why not 12? Why not 15,000? Why did they stop at 11,000? Somebody knows what's going on here. Somebody has to know what's going on here. Maybe somebody with inside knowledge paid 11,000. I don't know. I don't want to accuse any crazy conspiracies here, but something funky's going on, and Topps better be delivering big on whatever this thing is, or it's going to look really bad.
Well, this could be true, but if somebody actually has knowledge and they paid $11,000, they must know this is something
That's
pretty
what
good.
I'm saying.
Now, the one thing I will point to is that Topps recently surprised the collector community by saying that if you have Victor Wembanyama's number to 99 card, his redemption from Bowman University, that you now get to go to San Antonio. They will fly you. They will pay to fly you to San Antonio and put you up in a hotel to meet Victor Wembanyama and personally get your redemption of that card handed to you in person in San Antonio in a couple of weeks. That was a big surprise to the collector community, and anyone holding one of those redemption cards is now absolutely thrilled. I've got to imagine Tacofractors are going to unlock some type of experience like this, and that's why people are going crazy. What do you think, Ben?
Well, there's only one person I know that would light money on fire like this, and it's you. So I'm curious why you bought this card. I'm just kidding. But
the Desmond Ritter Tacofractor has not yet hit the market.
Yeah.
As soon as it does, I'm there.
In general, sort of like Teapot, and I hate to be the Debbie Downer. I guess I'm filling in for Doug this week, but really not feeling the Tacofractor stuff. One thing I will say is that even though I'm not really into it, I'm glad that Topps is doing something different. They're thinking outside the box. Even if everybody thinks it's a flop, I would rather them flop, in a grand fashion like this than to just do nothing and churn out the same stuff. And then also, I will recognize that I'm in my 30s. Maybe this isn't a card meant for me. Maybe the Tacofractor is meant for someone like Reeves that is a little
with
bit
11K.
Yeah, with way more money than I do. But it's one of those things that maybe I'm not the target audience for this, and that's okay. If they're trying to do something new, targeting for kids, I think we can objectively say that's probably good.
I don't know what it is. I do think it's going to be something big. Topps leaders were excited about this when they first started to hint at this back at the Topps Industry Conference in February that I was at. They didn't give any details, but they just said that everybody should be excited about it. Well, here it is.
Here it is.
I'm excited about it. What is it?
Yeah.
Topps tell us. I guess we'll probably find out sometime soon. Hopefully you got some Tacofractor cards out there to join in the celebration, whatever that might look like. What I am excited about, Teapot, is this question submitted by one of our viewers from our last episode of the YouTube comments. They want to know about the young stars in baseball, and specifically from the category of rookies, second-year players, top prospects right now. Who are you investing into? Who do you think are the guys right now from that class? Because there's a lot of exciting young stars. And of course, Jason Dominguez being the headliner from this last week, being number 1 in our top 5 cards from a couple days ago, having just gotten called up to the majors, hitting a home run in his first at bat. But he's just one of many young stars. Who are you on, T?
So I think this year's been great for baseball because so many young players have shined a little more brightly, especially than last year. Last year was sort of a down year. A lot of the big names we knew were injured or didn't play super well. There's a few guys in particular this year. I think Corbin Carroll has been fantastic, has had a great season. J-Rod has obviously turned it on as of late. That's just been really good to see what the Mariners are doing, and in that division, it's like insane now that the collapse by the Rangers, and you've got the Mariners, you've got the Astros.
By the way, because I circled J-Rod here, last 30 games, batting .385, 9 home runs, 12 stolen bases, last 30 games.
Yeah, Mookie Betts has been better, but that's pretty impressive. Bobby Witt also has come on since the All-Star break. He's come on big time. And then somebody I'm really excited to see who is being toyed with being called up is Jackson Holliday, who's been unstoppable in the minors, and he just had an awesome double that he beat out in AAA in his first game there. I love Spencer Strider. You know, I'm kind of coming into this rooting for the Braves now being here, but I'm not touching his cards at all because I really think they're going to be at a discount a year, 2 years from now, and I'll be happy then to add them to my Ultimate Collector binder at a discount.
Somebody tried to sell me the Spencer Strider Super Fractor.
Well, that's sick.
Maybe I should have bought it.
Maybe
I should have bought it. You didn't mention the other Brave I'm excited about, Michael Harris II. He's started the season good last year, started the season a little slow, but he's come on too. His last 30 games, batting .319.
Yeah,
he's coming back into form. He's exciting. Kid too. And I do love the young nucleus of the Orioles. You mentioned Jackson Holliday, but how about Adley Rutschman? How about Gunnar Henderson? That is the Orioles are going to be
exciting for Baltimore fans who've been starved.
They're going to be a team. I mean, they're doing good this year, and they're going to be even better in the years ahead. That's going to be nuts. How about you, Ben?
So obviously, of this group, I like, from strictly a on-field standpoint, J-Rod the best. I know a lot of people were really excited about Ellie De La Cruz. He's sort of taken a turn for the worse, recently. The guy that I'm really focusing on, and it's not necessarily for his play, Bobby Witt Jr., one of the best players in baseball in the second half. He's on the verge of a 30-30 season. But the reason I like him in the hobby is because he's involved in the hobby.
He's a big collector.
He's a big collector. I think he's a PSA ambassador. I think in an era where all of these athletes and celebrities are trying to really own their personal brands, I think Bobby Witt Jr. is the type of guy that if he can show that he is involved in the hobby, loves the hobby, will get a lot of people that aren't necessarily Kansas City Royals fans involved with collecting his cards. They're going to connect with him better. They're going to be interested in collecting them. And, just for that reason alone, I know J-Rod has, I think, opened up some packs with Topps as well. But that guy actually really seems to love being in the hobby. And I think that makes a really big difference.
I agree. I like it. It's exciting. These are good answers. I'm impressed with you guys.
Hopefully he doesn't end his career early to become a breaker and stop being an athlete.
Blake Martinez reference there. Yeah, that was.
Thanks, Teapot.
Keep playing, Bobby. Keep playing.
It's a little bit of a rough one. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. If you got questions for us for next episode's show, leave those in the YouTube comments and go grab that Sports Card Investor app, open it up, and track the trending cards all football season long. Give us a like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.